Hello everyone, welcome back to my crafty corner. I am coming to you live today on YouTube, and my name is Jean Bobish, and I am a Fun Stamper's Journey coach. Now today I'm going to talk to you about seasonal stamp sets and possibly things to consider when you purchase a stamp set. Now we're going to be dealing with this particular one, which is our Harvest Wreath. Now this is a beautiful, beautiful stamp set, and naturally, being Harvest Wreath, you would think that it was just for fall. But this is such an incredibly versatile stamp set, more than you would ever realize. Now, of course, it comes with some like wheat sprigs, some different leaves, and of course, all these fabulous sentiments. I realize you're seeing them backwards, but it's a beautiful set, and naturally, you could do a lot of fun things for fall with this. However, with a little bit of imagination, you can take this wreath almost year-round. How do you say? Well, just by adding a couple other stamp sets to this wreath, and you could make any holiday card that you would like. So let me show you the two cards that we're going to be making today. This is the first one, and I've kind of made a snowflake wreath, and I've added some rhinestones to really give it that bling, and a beautiful organza bow. And I've used some pan pastels to give it that soft, dreamy background. Then, for a more traditional Christmas card, I did something like this. Using the same wreath, but a different stamp set, I choose two little gingerbreads to put on my wreath. And those came from the Holly Jolly Minis. And as you can see, there's poinsettias, there's the gingerbreads, there's presents, there's stockings, there's trees, candy canes. You can put anything on your wreath you want. This is also a very versatile stamp set because, as I said, these are great for little tags or gift card holders, all kind of things. And it does come with a matching die set, which makes cutting out those little things all the much easier. So we're going to do both of these cards today. I hope you like them. I've tried to get as much pre-done as possible to save on time and still be able to explain to you how they were made. So let me get you up in the cheap seats and we can get started. Now, of course, all of these products can be found on my website, funstampersjourney.com/Jean Bobish. So let's do this gorgeous snowflake one first. This was the first idea I had, and I thought, wouldn't it be pretty to have a snowflake wreath? So I'm going to grab the papers that I used, and I have a whipped cream base card. I have some Huckleberry Fusion paper, and of course this is totally optional, but I use my Journey rectangles and I cut out a portion of this paper because when I lay the next layer on top, I'm going to get the part of the Huckleberry Fusion that I want, and I've saved this much paper for another day. So that's a little tip that I like to share. So I'm going to take this piece, which is 3 3/4 by 5 inches, and I'm going to grab a piece of scrap paper, and we're going to get out our pan pastels and our little mini dauber. Now, unfortunately, I had a major accident with my pastels, and so they are pretty much nothing but dust right now. If you order them, yours will not look like this, believe me. And if you've been considering, now is a really good time to order them because they are 20% off as part of our Media Mix promotion. So I'm just randomly adding some of this pretty amethyst. Now I'm wiping it off on my scratch paper first because I don't want it to be too intense. And I'm going to very carefully put the lid on. And underneath here, I have put a piece of Velcro so I can use those little dauber pads over and over again. And again, my poor pool play is also in bad shape. So I'm going to try and pick up some of that. Wipe it off, and I'm going to fill in some of these other areas with my pool plane. Actually, I think I'm on the wrong side of the paper, to be honest with you. So I'm going to have to go back and redo that. And I'm not rubbing really hard. I'm not scrubbing that in. I'm just lightly going over the paper. All right, so we're going to go back and pick up some of our pretty amethyst again. And I will need that dauber back. I saw somewhere on Facebook where you can fix these pan pastels if this happens. And I'm going to certainly give it a try. And I'll let you know if it works for me, because, you know, accidents happen, and everybody's going to drop one eventually, and that's what's going to happen. So, all right, I've added some of that. Now I want to darken up the colors a little bit. So I'm going to take some of our Beach Ball, which is a darker blue, and I'm going to be careful where I'm putting this because I don't want to darken this up too much, but I'm kind of going in the same blue area. So we have some light and some dark blue, just like so. Isn't that getting pretty? I love these colors together. And then finally, I'm going to take some pretty pansy, and that will darken up our lavender color. So see how dark that is? I really want to get that off of there because I don't want it to get too crazy. But I love that color. Now look how beautiful that background is. Isn't that gorgeous? So I'll worry about my little dauber pads later. But I'm going to put this, seal these up and put them aside for now because we're done with those. Now what I like to do, some people like to spray theirs with hairspray to set it. If you burnish it in really well, you shouldn't have a problem. And I just like to take a paper towel and rub it over the whole area. Now you see these colors are not mixing or moving or anything, but it does burnish it in, and then it shouldn't come off. I mean, you should have no problem with it being dusty. Okay? Pretty. Isn't that gorgeous? So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take Huckleberry Fusion, and I'm going to grab my wreath stamp, and I'm going to ink it up really well. We want to get this nice and dark. So I'm really making sure that I got lots of ink on there. And then I'm going to turn this over, and excuse my head if it's in the way, but I want to get this position just right. A little more to the top than the bottom. And there we have our gorgeous wreath. So, you know, I know that if you have like a Santa Claus stamp set or Christmas tree all decorated, things like that, naturally you cannot use them for other seasons. But if you come across something like this that's just a plain wreath, well, my goodness, you can use this and decorate it for anything. So keep that in mind. You know, when you're trying to decide what to purchase or what you like, look at it and think, what else can I use it for other than just fall? Now, I'm going to go to this Snowman Days because it has a teeny tiny little snowflake stamp. And I wanted teeny tiny little snowflakes. So I'm going to grab that. And I'm going to get my media tray out. And I'm going to do these kind of a couple at a time. And I lost my little stamp block. Let me grab it. And I'm going to pick up some of my clear pigment ink. And I'm going to start down here and I'm going to put some snowflakes. Now I'm kind of doing them only a few at a time because it's hard to see and I don't want them to overlap. So I'm going to sprinkle this with the white embossing powder and tap off all that excess. I should have heat set my ink because I think it might have been a little damp still, but now we will heat set these. Look how they show up once they're heat set. Aren't they pretty? And now I'm going to continue around. I'm trying to see how many I have. 1, 2, 3. I think I did 2 more over here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I had 9, so let's see, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And I hope I didn't overlap any. So again, I'm going to sprinkle this with my embossing powder. Oh, and it looks like I did pretty good. Hooray, hooray. So let me just heat set these. Now, if you want, you can also hit it from the back. So there we go. Beautiful snowflakes are all done. Let me get this out of the way. All right. Now I'm going to take my Easy Glide adhesive and I'm going to apply it to the back of this panel. And I'm going to line it up so that it is framed nicely on the Huckleberry Fusion. And look how pretty those colors of Pan Pastel go with that Huckleberry Fusion. Don't they look beautiful? And now I'm going to continue and add the last of my adhesive here. Oops. I'm going to fold this over. And I'm going to make sure that my base card is going in the right direction. And I'm going to set this right in the center of the front of my card and press. Now I wanted to dress up my snowflakes a little bit. So I decided to add some of our rhinestones. And to get them to really stick, I'm going to use some of our Journey glaze. So I'm going to make sure that it's coming out because the tip tends to get clogged. So I'm just going to take a pin and shove it in the nozzle and open that up. Always keep those straight pins on hand. Let's see if it's going to come out. I think I need a little bit more. These pins all have Journey glaze on them, so they're sticking together. I should wipe them off before I put them back, but I don't. Okay, that's much better. So we're just going to place a very small daub in the center of each one of these snowflakes. I'll put the lid back on, and then I'm going to use my Journey tool, and I'm going to pick up a small rhinestone, and I'm going to place it on that Journey glaze in the center of each one of my snowflakes. And that way I know that they're not going to fall off somewhere along the line. And if you don't have a Journey tool, what the heck are you waiting for? These things are fabulous and they work for so many different purposes. We have 7 different attachments that come with this. And this dental pick is my absolute favorite attachment, as you probably can tell, because it is always on my bloom tool. I could not live without it. Every craft room needs to have one. That's all I'm saying. And you can get it on my website, funstampersjourney.com/Jeanne Bobish. And I'm telling you, if I get some money ahead, I'm going to get another one and put some of the other attachments on that one so that I don't have to flip them out. This little rhinestone is being very stubborn. So I'm going to get another one. Okay. Now look how pretty that looks. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And before I put these away, I put these lost ones, I'm going to take some of our Special Day Organza ribbon. I have rhinestones everywhere. And I'm going to tie a beautiful fluffy bow. So I'm going to cut this. And it's hard when you do a little bow to get it through your fingers. But it's so worth it when it's done. And I've showed you how to make these bows many a time. So pull it tight and slip it off my finger. My fingers are turning blue because I made the loops as tiny as I could. So there we go. Now I can open these up and fluff up each little loop. Make them beautiful. And this ribbon is so soft and so pretty. I just love the look it creates. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful, Beautiful. Now I'm going to cut my tails. And you guys know that I like to take a lighter and just run it quickly across the bottom, and that prevents your ribbons from fraying. But please, please, please be careful when you do that. Okay. I'm still fussing with my bow. This one seems a little longer, so I'm going to fix that. And this will get placed right here at the top of my wreath. And to attach it, I'm just going to use some Journey glue dots. And I'm probably going to put a couple on the back here just to make sure that it stays where I want it to stay. And I'll take one more. And that ought to get that, keep that in place forever. All right, and I'm going to put it right at the top of my wreath. Isn't it pretty? So fluffy and pretty. And this one loop is bugging me. All right, now I'm going to take one of my larger rhinestones, and I'm going to place that right in the center of that bow for some more added bling. And I will take a glue dot and fix this loop in place where I want it, because it's really bugging me. All right, now the last thing we're going to do is we're going to grab the sentiment. Now you can use any sentiment you want. I wanted to use the Happy Holidays from our Robin Holiday set, but there's many, many others you can choose from. If you don't have this, you can put anything you want on this card. So I'm going to, again, ink it up really, really good with the Huckleberry Fusion. And stamp it right below the wreath. And there we go. All right, and the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of our sparkle silk, shake it up really good so you get all that glitter in there. And I'm going to take this and just sparkle the heck out of our card. And just really, now if you can't get it where you want it, just take the little brush and just touch down and get wherever you think you need some more. And I'm telling you, if I could paint the whole front with it, I would. It's awesome. Awesome, awesome. And there is our finished card. Here is the original. Now that this is dry, and you can see how you get just that sprinkle of glitter all over. So I hope you like that. I'm going to set this one aside to dry. And we will move on to our second card using the Harvest Wreath. Now this one is a little more of a traditional Christmas card. And what I did was I took our kiwi slice and I did the same thing with my rectangle die to cut out that center so that we have that extra piece of paper that we can use for another occasion. And I'm going to place this right on top like so. I'm sorry, my dog is upset about something. I apologize. And my husband's not home to make her quiet. So, okay. Well, that sounds like my husband. She's barking at my husband. Okay, so there we go. And I think, where's my original? Oh, here it is. Yes, I think I did. I put this down too soon. I knew there was something else I wanted to do before I attached it. So whenever that happens, simply grab your palette knife and very carefully you can lift up your paper. All right, so I'm going to take this off. And we all make mistakes like this. I mean, I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. It happens. Happens more so to me than not. And I'm going to use this candy apple glitter tape. And I'm going to find the end of it if I can. There we go. And I'm going to place 2 pieces of it across the bottom as straight as I can. And that in itself is a challenge for me sometimes. Okay. And this is so pretty. Look at that sparkle. All right, now that everything's stuck to my desk, I'm going to fold this over and hide it like so. And now we're going to attach it to our frame piece. And we have the lovely front of our card. So I'm going to press that down. And now I'm going to add some more adhesive to the green paper, which was kiwi slice. And I'm going to attach that to the front, all centered. And boy, if nothing says Christmas more than this, with the red and the green and the stripes and the glitter. Isn't that pretty? Now, I have taken the same wreath and I have stamped it on limeade splash paper using kiwi slice ink. And I saved you guys the torture of watching me fussy cut this out. So I did that ahead of time to save us some time and aggravation. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take our craft glue and I'm going to glue this on. And the reason being, because it has all these ends that are sticking out. I think my glue might be empty. Let me get another one. All right, I know this one. And just carefully add a little bit to these wisps so that they lay down on your paper. Okay. Whoop-a-doo-boo. And then do the inside. All right. Now I'm going to carefully pick this up and I'm going to lay it on my card. And then I'm going to take a block and just let that, I got glue everywhere. Just let that sit like that, and that will hold that down flat until we're ready for to move on. That will give it a chance to dry. Now, while that's drying, I'm going to go back to my, where is it? Holly Jolly Minis, and I'm going to grab my little gingerbread man. And I'm going to grab his die. And I'm going to take some hazelnut blend. And I'm going to stamp. Actually, I'm going to stamp 3 of him. Because if you want to, you can decorate an envelope to match, which is really cute and really fun to do. Okay, there he goes, our lovely little gingerbread man. And I'm going to tape down my die. Bring in my Amaze machine. Of course, you can use whatever die cutting machine you have, but seriously, I love my Amaze. There's nothing better in my eyes. You do have to be careful, though. We do have a magnetic base, so if you have a problem with magnets, you have to take that into consideration. But I'll tell you what, I love the magnetic base. It is awesome. And when you get your Amaze machine, you get everything. It's not like some of the other companies' machines where you just get the basic cutting plates. No, no. You get the cutting plates, you get the magnetic base, you get the rubber mat, and you get the embossing plate. So you're ready to go and do anything you want with your machine as soon as you get it. So that's something neat to keep in mind. Alrighty, now our wreath is dry. I'm going to take some of our candy apple, goodness, I have rhinestones everywhere, candy apple thread, and I'm going to make a nice big fluffy bow for my wreath. Whoops. And it's going to be big. I mean, not big size-wise, but fluffy-wise. It's going to have a lot of loops. All right, and we're going to pull this really tight. And then I can fluff up these loops. Make it a nice fluffy bow. This is a little stiff. It's more like twine than thread. And then, of course, we'll trim our ends. And for this, too, I'm going to use some Journey glue dots. And I like to place them on the back. See, I've got this one tail piece going the wrong way. There we go. And I'm going to press this up here on this kind of corner of my wreath to fluff out those loops. Now, doesn't it look pretty? And then I'm going to take wherever they went. Maybe I put them back. Yes. What are they called? Berries and holly. And I'm going to take one of these green ones, and I'm going to set it in the center of my bow, like so. All right. Now we're ready to place our little gingerbread men. And I'm going to pop them up with our mini foam squares. So I'm going to turn them over. And I think two, I know, don't be shocked. The Queen of Foam Squares here is just going to use two. And I'm kind of going to put them down here opposite of our bow. And I want to have one kind of this way. And I'm going to place the other one kind of this way. Like that. Okay, maybe my tails are a little long, so I'll just snip those off. All right, we're looking good. The next thing I'm going to do is take some of our holiday elements, and these are sequins, and there's some snowflakes, and there's some little flowers that kind of remind me of poinsettias. And I'm going to take 3 of those to finish decorating my wreath. And again, I'm going to use Journey glue to set them in place. Now it's stuck to my finger because I put too much down there. Okay, you don't want to use a lot. Just a little drop will do ya. Yeah. And same with this one. Okay. Then I'm going to take some little tiny pearls and I'm going to place them in the center of each of those flowers. So it's like the tiniest size pearls I can find. And I'm going to set them right in the middle. I think it makes them, dresses them up a little bit, makes them look a little bit more like flowers, especially if you get it in the middle. There we go. And one more. If I could get it where I wanted it, there we go. All right. Now the other thing we need is a sentiment, and I'm going to use the Merry Christmas, which is also from the Holiday Minis, or Holly Jolly Minis, I'm sorry. And I'm going to use my kiwi slice to bring in some more of that green. And I'm going to ink this up really well. And I'm going to place it on this piece of whipped cream cardstock. And I'm going to try very carefully to get it nice and straight. I didn't do too dang bad there. Now I'm going to take our scissors and I'm going to trim this down. Kind of shape cut around it, if you will. And I'm just following the shape of the wording. And I think that looks pretty good. And that's going to get placed right on our red glitter ribbon. Now I'm going to cut this a little bit, just trim a little bit more off. There we go. I like that better. And I'm going to pop this up too. So I'm going to get out my mini foam squares again. This is the small size. We have small and medium. These are the small. And they keep sticking to my nail. Whoop. All right. And I'm going to place it over here this time, kind of lining it up on that red glitter, straight as I can get it. And then the last thing I'm going to do is take our Journey Glaze, and I'm going to glaze our little gingerbread men because I think they're so stinking cute. And they would just look awesome glazed. So I'm spreading this around. I'm kind of pouring some out onto the paper. Whoa, like that, only not that much. And spreading it around with the nozzle. He's going to be really glazed good. So see, I put a dollop, and then using the tip of my dispenser, I'm just carefully spreading that around. I'm not squeezing out more. I'm just spreading it. And there we go. That is all done, but I'm going to set this aside so I don't mess up and touch that wet glaze, and I'll show you the original. And you can see what the glaze does. It makes these little gingerbread men cute and shiny. Now, you can take the third gingerbread man if you want, and you can just place him inside the card as something cute, or we can make a matching envelope. So I'm going to grab another piece of this paper, which is out of our Christmas cheer prints. I don't think I mentioned that earlier. And I'm going to see if I have a scrap that would be usable before I cut into another sheet. But it doesn't look like it. So this piece here is not large enough, unfortunately. Just a hair too short. So I'm going to measure this, and it looks like I need a piece about 6 inches. Six inches by, let me see here. We'll say by 3. Because we want to have enough to trim it off. So I'm going to do it the 3-inch way first to try and save paper. And you're saying, Jean, that's not the right paper. It is. I have it upside down. See? It's double-sided. 3 by 6. And that was our Christmas cheer prints. And see, that'll fit on here just perfectly. Now, what I like to do is take my adhesive and run it right along that fold line, and then down either side and across the bottom of the flap of the envelope. And being very careful, I want to line this up with that fold and press it into place. And then I'm going to take my Pro shears and I'm going to trim it even with the flap. Now, I had already had one of these made up to show you, but being the doofus that I am, I laid my card on top of my wet gingerbread that had journey glaze all over him and ruined him. So, again, I picked up the empty glue. We're going to take him and we're going to glue him. And I always like to do this when I get a chance because I think it just adds so much to the card. And I think it just looks so special and just adds a little extra something. A little extra surprise, if you will. And it looks like you really went overboard to create this set. So let me go ahead and get my journey glaze on him back here. We don't want to leave him neglected. And like you said, we want to always do your journey glazing last, because then you can set your card aside and you don't have to worry about touching that or working around it or whatever. So let me get everything out of the way. And where did I put the first card? Here it is. So here are the 2 cards and the envelope that I did today, all using a fall stamp set. So, if you're smart, you will pick up this beautiful, come on, turn around. There we go. This beautiful Harvest Wreath stamp set, because you will be able to use it for many holidays to come. And I promise you're going to see it again from me. Now let me see. Hi, Eva. Looks like she's the only one that commented, or at least the only one I can see. I'm glad you like it. Again, here is the gingerbread one. Here is the snowflake one. Thanks, Eva. So, all of the products I used today can be found on my website, funstampersjourney.com/Jeanne-Bobish. And if you check out my blog, A Stroke of Genius, at blogspot.com, you will find the actual list of all the products used for both of these cards. So I hope you enjoyed them. Thank you so much for watching. And be sure to pick up this fabulous Harvest Wreath stamp set, because I can see hearts for Valentine's Day, eggs for Easter, flowers for spring, etc., etc. So don't miss out. And I want to remind you too that our pan pastels are still on sale until the end of the month, September 30th, 20% off, along with a bunch of our other multimedia products. So don't wait till the last minute. Make sure you get yours by ordering now. So have a great day. Thank you again, and I will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.